Hey folks, we're up here in Wyoming and we've got a special guest with us here today, Jeremy Svejcar, and he's all the way from New Mexico. This young man's got a great story. He served our country and he loves the horse. You'll be interested. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First of all, I want to thank you so much for my family and all my friends that are patriotic, that believe in you serving our country. So thank you for serving our country.
Well, thank you.
Jeremy, when you come back, you didn't lose any limbs, but you lost a lot of confidence, you lost a lot of self-esteem. Talk a little bit about what you went through and the other people that go through after what you've seen at war.
For me, I came home and I really struggled to find my place and where I belonged in society. Got out of the military and I lost my sense of purpose. During my time in the Army, I had a title. I was Sergeant Svejcar, and I was good at what I did. And I got out of the military after coming home from overseas, and I lost that sense of purpose. I lost that title. I wasn't Sergeant Svejcar anymore. I was just some guy, you know. And I think what happens with a lot of us is that we go to combat, and the military does a really good job of turning us into warriors. But when we get out of the military, they don't do a very good job of
Bringing you back to civilian
making
life.
us civilians again.
Yep, exactly.
Jerry had become involved with 5-Star through Hero for Horses. He recognized our product as being a good product, reached out to us a few years back to see if we'd be interested in helping him in his program. And we're more than glad to help our veterans. This is something we feel like that we want this audience understand the need for help for our veterans. We're glad to be there. They deserve our help. They served our country, and we want to be able to help them.
Jeremy, I believe my message to the world is the horse is such a great animal, the greatest animal God has ever created, to give us more of a self-worth and an understanding about ourselves, and how this animal doesn't say a word but can heal us from the inside out. Talk to you about how you got with horses and Heroes and Horses, and how it changed your life. Talk about before you got with horses and what was going on.
I'd been home for about a decade before I went to Heroes and Horses up in Montana. I'd been home for about a decade before I went to Heroes and Horses up in Montana. And I struggled to do simple things that a lot of other people take for granted, like going to the grocery store. I struggled interacting with my family and friends, doing things that I used to do with my family and friends, going to concerts, going to the movies, things that everyday people go to do.
But you're talking about crowds of people, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
That's what you were afraid of.
It was just something that I couldn't control the crowd. I couldn't see everybody and what everybody was doing.
You thought that something was going to go, something was going to happen.
Pretty much, yeah.
What did you actually tell the folks? What did you actually do? What was your position when you were fighting in the war?
I was a gunner on we ran convoy security between Kuwait and into Iraq, and so my job was to protect my crew.
So you were on the top of the tank, and you were the man
top
shooting?
of the Humvee, yeah.
Humvee.
I was on top of the Humvee with a machine gun, and my job was to be the eyes.
Protect your crew.
Protect my crew. Protect my.
So when you came home, that never stopped.
It never stopped.
That kept going.
It kept going. I can remember driving places or going and doing things, and just not being able to control my surroundings.
We just had a great dinner tonight.
Yes, sir.
Because of you.
Me and a lot of other guys.
We're free. We have the benefits that you protected our country. And but when you come back, I don't think this country supports you enough. I don't think this country that we forget about our veterans. There's veterans that are homeless out on the street.
Yes, sir.
Because they have this mindset of always being on the defense. And tell us what the horse has done for you.
Well, in 2016, I applied to a program in Montana called Heroes and Horses. Before that, I'd hit rock bottom. I was at a place where I felt I had become such a burden to my family and my friends that I planned to end my life. I felt my family and friends would have been much better off in the long run.
Because of what you were feeling and
because
your anger?
I didn't have the ability to overcome or push forward through things. So I found this program in Montana, Heroes and Horses, and 3-phase program, and basically they put me on the back of a horse in the middle of the wilderness, and they challenged me again. It wasn't a pony ride. It wasn't a pat on the back and go have fun. It was grueling, hard work day in and day out. It reminded me that I wasn't broken, that I was just as capable 10 years after I came home.
Survival.
Exactly. And through the phases, I was able to build more confidence and continue moving forward. And in the 3rd phase, it was just an incredible experience. I spent a month with a horse trainer in Cody, Wyoming named Val Geisler, getting up every morning, training horses, working with horses with a guy that's been doing it for 60 years. And he didn't just show me a solid foundation in working with horses. He was able to drag me out of my shell. And I decided from the very moment that I got accepted into the program that I was going to go at it 100%. There wasn't going to be any backing out or changing anything like that. And the horse was what did it for me.
We at 5-Star Equine Products feel like it's very important to give back to our veterans. They've given so much for us and their sacrifice for our country. We're glad to be involved with Hero for Horses and Charlie 5, providing them with pads when they need them. We're just happy that we can help our veterans and we can give back to them in a small way. At 5-Star Equine Products, we not only care about your horses, we also care about you.
When I left Cody, Wyoming and drove back home to my mom and dad's, I passed through my mom and dad's in Colorado. My mom cooked supper And that was the first time I felt at home in a decade. That was the first time I hugged my mama and really hugged my mom.
You meant it, yeah.
I was so afraid, and I distanced myself from my family because I didn't want to see them. I didn't want them to see the struggles that I was having. And what's come of all this is that I realized that we all struggle. We all have things that we have to overcome. We all have things that we go through in life, whether it's veterans who serve in combat, or people who lose a loved one, or whatever it may be. But at the end of all of that, you're actually getting something out of it.
Right.
If you don't struggle, if you don't have hardship,
You can't learn.
you can't learn, and you don't have anything to base the good off of.
Sure.
If life's just good all the time, then it's just normal.
Yeah,
But if
you don't appreciate it.
if you hit rock bottom like I did, and you're able to come back, I made a choice.
Mhm.
I made a choice that day when I committed to go into that program. I made a choice.
And that was at the bottom when you decided you were thinking about taking your life?
Yep.
And this happens a lot with veterans, correct?
About
That they get in so much of a depression that they take their lives because they're always on the defense, and they've been trained to be a warrior. Like you told me earlier, you've been trained to be a warrior, so you come home and you just relax, and society is so different because you're so much in training on the defense. You just feel like you're worthless because you're not protecting something. And you know, you're right. We don't do a very good job of looking after our people that have served us. And I'm so thankful that you were able to find horses. I think a lot of people, there's quite a few of us that do as well. You know, if you've been belittled, or you come back to a country that you've put your life on the line for, and you sacrificed your whole life, that stays in your head all your whole life, and we don't have the support for the veterans that you should have. You lose your confidence, you lose your trust in the country,
well,
and you will lay your life down to die for the country. And we have so many of you that are coming back that don't have that support.
the support in some ways is there. It's just really difficult to navigate. Just to be
You need somebody to navigate. There's a lot of great organizations out there for sure.
And there's
But I think you nailed it right on the head that we need to help navigate those people and direct them.
2 weeks ago, I delivered my first horse to a veteran.
Yep.
It started Charlie 5 in 2016, and had a lot of struggles since then. And we delivered our first horse to a veteran in near San Antonio, Texas. And I was able to work with him for another 2 weeks, which gave me more confidence, which helped me before I delivered that horse to her. And I tell you what, the look on her face when I walked that horse around the corner and handed off to her was one of the most incredible feelings I've ever experienced in my life.
What do you think, why the horse is such a powerful animal that has changed your life and others?
Trust. Trust. Veterans have a hard time trusting other people. It's because you can really only trust the guy next to you. I've built bonds and established bonds with people that, with other veterans, guys I was in the Army with, that are in a lot of ways deeper than I have with my own blood relatives.
Exactly.
And they've talked about this
that's a bond that lasts forever, right?
They've talked about this forever.
Yep.
Since the days of the knights in shining armor.
Yep.
And so you build bonds with these folks, and you trust them.
Mm-hmm.
You trust them with every fiber of your being because they got your back no matter what.
Yep.
And you get out and you get home, and it's hard to, after you've had a bond with someone like that, it's hard to trust So what happened with me, and you talk to other veterans, they start working with a horse, and a horse isn't automatically going to trust you.
You got to earn it. You got to earn it.
Earn that horse's trust.
That's right.
You have to.
See, the thing about it with a horse is you've got to learn to trust a horse first before they trust you.
Right.
That's the key.
That's the key. In combat, I learned in my time in the military how to direct people, how to move, things we talk about: shoot, move, communicate. If you lose one of those three things in the triangle, you're done. When you can take a situation and turn it around, or think clearly in a stressful situation, that's what helped me with that situation on the horse.
Yep. The more we can inject horses, look what it's done to you to change your life. Does your wife think that you're different now?
When I came home from the first phase of the program, my wife didn't know what to do with me.
Really?
She didn't recognize me. Same good-looking guy.
What a blessing.
But she didn't. My attitude changed. I had a better outlook on life. Sure. I had drive. I had the horse brought me home.
Yeah.
Horse brought me home.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about this. This is the Moore family that owns 5 Star Pads.
Yeah. Brought
you up here to Wyoming.
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to be talking about pads. We're not. We're talking about life. And a great company, American owned, and they searched you, and they've been able to supply you with some pads and support you and bring you here to tell your story. So I just want to mention that they don't want me to mention it, but 5 Star Pads and the Moore family has brought him here today to tell his story. They believe in the patriotism. And I try to surround myself with the products that I believe in and the people that I believe in. And they're helping this young man put his life back together. And what an honor it is to be here, to sit here with you, and to talk a little bit about this. Now, you have started an organization, a company, to where you've told me this, where you take horses, you train these horses. After they've been through this program, it's like a dog. You train them up and present them to this person for them to help change their lives. Is that correct? Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. Well, the horse impacted me in such a great way, and I recognize that the healing power that the horse has. So, in an effort to keep me moving forward and to use the skills that I was blessed to receive, the working with Val and apprenticing under him, I decided, instead of taking that and putting money in my own pocket and training horses and turning them over and doing that, we took the little money that we had in the bank and we started a nonprofit called Charlie 5. And the goal is fairly simple. I take a horse, I get it to a point where I can pass it on to a veteran. Now, the veteran has to have had equine experience or have gone through a program or be participating.
Similar to Heroes and Horses?
There's hundreds of therapeutic riding programs out there for veterans. And the veteran wants to have a horse at their house. If they have the means, if they have the ability, we have an application process, and we'll get a horse to them so they can work that horse, their very own horse at their place. And we get it to their level and to help them out.
Yep.
So they can bond with their own horse. They're not bonding with a horse that's...
Yep. That horse is going to help change their life. Continually the healing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's what you're doing. I mean, we talked about early today, and I said, why don't you do these programs? You said, Chris, you said, I'm continually healing myself. I'm not ready to do that. And what an honest from the heart that he said that. But he said, I can put myself into these horses and get them ready for these folks. And so for the help of 5 Star and myself, I'm going to help you with your horsemanship to better these horses. At no charge, you're allowed to come to any clinic that I have. No charge. Okay? So we believe in what you do. We believe in you. We believe in your character and you defending our country that sometimes we fall short and forget. Great men like you, when we come home from that, what you've seen in that war zone, and you can't get rid of it. But the only way you can get rid of it is through a horse. And you can pay all the shrinks in the world and all the doctors and all the medication in the world. The horse is the greatest healer we have ever seen. So on behalf of myself, the Moore family and 5 Star, I want to thank you for what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.